Hey everyone, it's Andre Luck again here for my video for this week. And just real quick, I really appreciate the feedback I've gotten on the videos over the past few weeks. It's been really cool. As you see these, share what you think, share what you like, share what you don't like. If you're like, hey, I don't agree with that necessarily, that's good too. Really, for me, it's a chance, an opportunity to get back to the community and get some thoughts out there, get a conversation going, so we all can improve. Myself, and then also sharing tips from my time and things that I learn as I talk to people along the way. Want to share that back with you all. So this week, I want to talk about why selling B2B in sports. And I think a lot of people know the main reasons and why it's pretty obvious, but wanted to hit at a few different levels. So I have some notes here. So if you see me look to the side, I just want to make sure there's nothing I forget. But for sales people and sales managers, why it's important. Then for those of you, looking to get to the executive level, why it's important for the CRO to focus their team and their sales units on B2B sales, why the CMO should put efforts towards it, and then also why the CFO, it's important for them to promote and push for their team to sell to businesses within sports. So really it touches all areas of that go-to-market unit. On the revenue side, the finance side, it's a big opportunity for businesses. So the first one as it relates to salespeople and sales managers. I think the number one is just bigger deal sizes typically. From what I saw in my time selling and then also managing, business accounts purchased at 5 times the amount that a consumer would. That's just natural because typically they're buying bigger tickets, they're buying higher inventory products. But when you look at commission for you one as a salesperson, also looking to attain your sales goals, it's not easier, but you can start to clip away and take bigger chunks out of your targets with selling to businesses. So if you have a sound process, you can make some big opportunities there, which then also just going to lead to higher engagement for your sales team, because they're making bigger dollar sales, they're enjoying it more. And if you can get resources that do it really well and push businesses to your sales team, so from the marketing side, driving inbound to the sales team, I've seen inbound leads close at a 10 times higher rate than outbound. So if you add up 5 times higher revenue, 10 times greater win rates with inbound versus outbound, and you can find a way to get that function going, like that's going to be huge wins as an organization. And like I said, a happier sales team because they're selling more deals for a higher dollar amount with more ease because people are coming to them more interested or at least more informed, which should help improve some of those win rates. So I think that's the biggest one right there. Also, there's just bigger opportunities to expand accounts than there is on the consumer side. You'll get some, additional seats sold or some referrals from, just a fan or a family that's buying tickets. But on the business side, there's multiple uses typically within their business. They may look to upgrade their seats to a more premium area. And if it makes sense from a marketing standpoint, you could even look at some, corporate partnership, sponsorship opportunities that you're probably not going to get with the consumer. And then if you're on the account management side, the thing I've noticed also, they're less needy. They're not calling in to exchange their tickets every week. They don't, need to call in to add more tickets. They kind of have their package. They have someone that manages it or manages their tickets, and you really don't hear from them until there's something that they really need, or you're proactively going out to them to set up your quarterly business review or to check in and see how things are going. And then lastly, number three, why I think it's important for sales people and sales managers. I've said this a few times, like this is the future. This is where it's going if you're going to be in sports sales, because B2C is becoming more transactional. A lot of it's going to happen through email. There's self-service opportunities for people to purchase online. Even, suites are able to be purchased online now. So for you to be able to go out proactively, create your own business, create your own leads, create your own opportunities, you're gonna have more job stability. But that's also just where I see where the biggest opportunity is going to be for proactive sales efforts in the future, and that's just on the B2B side. For the CROs, the Chief Revenue Officer, that oversees potentially sales and other areas of the revenue business and operations, they're looking at it from a more high level. And, number one reason for them to have their units focused on business sales, it's a more predictable revenue stream. They're less impacted by team performance. More of the reason that you're purchasing as a business is because it makes sense to help achieve your business goals. So, obviously you want to see a winning team. You'll get more interest from your clients, your employees when the team's playing well. So that leads to better usage. But typically the main driving your decision isn't whether the team's winning or losing, where it is a little more emotional like that from a fan perspective. The other part of it where it's just more predictable, you can kind of map out your revenue and project more of a lifetime value with the business account. They typically renew in year one at a 10 to 20 percentage points higher, just because there's, once you're kind of fixing that budget, like I said, there's less things that impact that decision as long as they're seeing the value in it. Typically, year over year, you start to see the returns, and those accounts renew at a higher rate in year one, and that only multiplies multiple years. So when you add up, the lifetime value of that account versus a consumer, it helps you, when you're projecting out your revenue. Also at the CRO level, there's typically investments you're making in new premium build outs, or, higher inventory products, or you need to move more corporate partnerships. When you're working and proactively going out to businesses, you're giving yourself more opportunities to get some of those bigger accounts to come in. And if you're not just revenue focused, and you're also, heavily ticket focused and getting more accounts, that's a good way to do it too, because a lot of companies and corporations, whether if they purchase a membership or like a suite lease or anything like that, people are using their tickets on a regular basis. So those are new accounts that are coming on a regular basis. They're not actually purchasing tickets, but they're a new fan who's attending a game, and it might be their first time, might be their 10th time, but you're creating new fans through that. The other big opportunity is these companies have the opportunity to do big, family corporate buyouts and family corporate group outings. A lot of success with that, especially in baseball, because there's the inventory to do that. So if you sell a group of 1,000, yes, there's the one company that purchased, but in that 1,000, there's probably a few hundred employees, maybe some friends and family they brought with them. Those are all, again, new fans who are attending a game. Maybe they didn't purchase, but that triggers them to maybe purchase additional games. So, when you look at all the economics and the dynamics around selling a corporate account, and all the individuals who, yes, they're coming with their company for their company outing, but they could also come and find other uses of tickets for your product, you really start to see some opportunities and gains there. And then just the return on effort. If you're able to, achieve greater revenue at a higher efficiency through businesses, you're not having to put so much effort into getting so many accounts sold, so many tickets sold, so much revenue generated. So from a CRO perspective, those are all big wins. Now shifting over to the CMO, so that counterpart, that person in marketing who's helped, navigating that strategy, helping, drive interest and create awareness around, business accounts for you. There's some big wins there and some opportunities on that side. If you can get some business accounts in your account base, there's opportunities to align and kind of enhance and elevate your brand. You guys can partner together. They could be, that sounding voice in the community and the business community telling your brand story. It doesn't have to be you telling the story all the time. You got influential people who are out there telling it as well. And it gives you, bigger market reach. You could, do joint ticket promotions or joint marketing promotions. And now it's not all solely on you as that individual, that team. There's someone else who's elevating your brand as well from a marketing perspective. And then a lot of times companies want to do philanthropic things. And a lot of times at sports, there's opportunities to do that through foundations. And most sports teams are engaging youth, underprivileged youth, those that maybe not be able to come to a game. So they want to take their philanthropic efforts and, partner with a brand in the community to elevate both of them from a philanthropic perspective. So those are big wins from the CMO. When you look at the CFO, the finance, not always the best friend of the revenue side of the team, but as I've said before, I'm starting to see those come a lot closer together. And the CFO being more engaged and involved in the strategy, better understanding of, how things are going on the revenue side and, what that looks like. I think for us as revenue leaders, it's for us to also understand the financials behind it. It's not just about, all right, how do we generate as much revenue as possible? They're looking at it from, yes, that's great. We want to get as much revenue, but what's the most efficient way we can do that? What's going to give us the most profitability, give us the highest profit margins so that we're sustainable as a business from a finance and expenses perspective, while also achieving the goals that we set with the CEO, the investors, the president at a high level, and making sure it all funnels underneath that. But from a CFO perspective, big opportunity on the B2B side because those are just higher profit margins. The cost of delivering benefits to a business account could be less. They're not necessarily using all of their credits or discounts and things like that. They're not attending all the events. You're not paying all the time for that. If they do, it's really impactful. And it might even be a better trade-off if they do attend a player meet and greet or a get to hear from the head coach, something like that. They take one of their clients or they take their kid out or something like that. But typically, the profit margins are higher because you're not investing as many dollars into their benefits package, into that membership, and it's coming at a higher revenue amount. So, it's greater revenue, higher profit margins for each account when you're selling to businesses. The other thing it helps is justify capital expenditures. So as I talked about, from the CRO perspective, there may be, a premium build out. There may be, we want to renovate our suites or, some elevated experience we want to create. On the other side of that, you have to justify that, you're going to get the return back and as quickly as possible. What's the payback period you're getting if you're going to invest a few $1,000,000 in this build out? So it's important, not just from the CFO perspective to understand the forecast and how long that's going to take, but across all units within that business side to have a strong business process. I've run into it before in my career. We're like, all right, let's build this new area, but I didn't necessarily feel confident I had the accounts either for me or my team to go and recoup that payment investment. So we were scrambling. But if you're already doing it, it's consistent and it's part of your processes, you're in a much better situation to justify, hey, we want to do this capital expenditure. We want to do this build out. Here's the track record of success and historical data that shows that if we build this, we'll get our money back. And here's what the ROI will be, 2, 3, 4 years down the road, if we build that out, and you can get a better opportunity to sell that to your investors and justify that at the CEO level. And then also CFO is heavily focused on just headcount and how many bodies are we putting and investing, not just in our sales efforts, but our marketing efforts, everything like that. And if we could justify that with higher returns, higher dollar amounts, and maybe streamlining, or even if you have to scale down, but putting more focus proactively on businesses and letting more of the consumer, transact on their own and self-serve, that could be a more efficient model in the future. So those are all really the main areas of that go-to-market team who is focused on, what is our strategy? And this is a part of that strategy. Why I've put a lot of energy towards this and focus and effort towards it throughout my career is I just think that's the biggest opportunity within that go-to-market function in sports. I still think we heavily need to focus on B2C. I think there's opportunities there, but I think there's higher gains, higher opportunity on the B2B side, partly because of the revenue I just talked about and the tickets that you can sell to a business, but then also there's just not a lot of effort and intentional effort and knowledge that is behind the B2B sales and marketing process that I've put a lot of time and energy really trying to understand so that for myself I could be a better revenue leader, but also share with others so we all as an industry can get better. So if you're going to do it, it can't be, all right, in addition to someone else's responsibilities, we'll have them focus on business sales or business marketing. Like it needs to be properly invested. You need to have probably a business marketer on your team, a dedicated business sales team, because there's intentional effort that needs to be put to it on a consistent basis, not, just when we kind of get to it. It has to be part of your practices. So that's why I think it's important to sell to businesses aside from, it's just, big revenue opportunities, but for each of the areas within that go-to-market team, the salesperson, the sales manager, the CRO, the CMO, the CFO, which all then funnels up to the CEO and the president. These are why these are opportunities that are big for us in sports to take and why we should invest the time and resources into it. So love to hear your feedback. Let me know your thoughts here, and I'll be back here next week for my video for next week. See ya.